Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
So I don't want to say the name of the casino, but it's a small Indian casino in Arizona.
Okay.
And playing 1-2, and there's kind of a typical MOG tourist.
MOG?
Playing
What's that?
MOG, M-A-W-G, middle-aged white guy.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've never heard that term, but that makes
No?
sense.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And he's playing super loose. He's trying to play every hand. And he's already coolered one guy a couple times, cracking aces with hands like 10-4 offsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So he's playing. He's got a super wide range. I'm in early position. I don't think I was under the gun, but fairly early position, and I have pocket tens.
Now, you said what level did you say this was again?
It's 1-2.
1-2, and then what is it? A 200 cap game or something?
250, I think, is a max buy-in, and this guy has been running really hot and has about 600 in front of him.
And what do you have?
And I have about 400,
okay.
maybe 450.
So he limps in?
No. I have black tens.
Okay.
In early position. I raise to $10. Folds around to him, and he calls, and then everybody else folds.
He's in the blind, or?
Oh, hold on one second. I'm busy, Mark. Sorry.
He's in the blind. He's in the. Is that your kid or something?
That's my uncle.
Oh, okay. Is he in the blind?
No.
He's in the position.
So yeah, he's got position on me. Both blinds fold, and so we go to the flop.
Okay.
The flop is, I guess you could say, favorable. Queen 10-4 rainbow. So like queen of hearts, 10 of spades, 4 of diamonds.
So you flop middle set here.
So yeah. So I flop middle set.
Yep.
And I decide to lead for 20.
Okay.
And he calls.
So
which doesn't surprise me because he's calling, all kinds of stuff. So I'm hoping he has like ace queen here or king queen or something like that.
Or how about if he's calling with like 5-4 and he hits a 4 or a 5 on the turn? I mean, that's what I would feel like. I'd want him to if you have a set, you want him to piece off with some pair that makes him 2-pair or trips. And the great thing if he makes 2-pair with a 4 in his hand is you're not going to have to worry about a straight, right? Whereas like with queen jack or if he makes 2-pair with a queen, you could get. There's a possibility of a straight out there, but if he doesn't, with a 4, like if the 6 comes, you're golden, right?
Right.
Okay.
But again, it's because this guy's been playing so many hands, it's really hard for me to put him on any kind of a range. I mean, his range is all over the place. He could have 10-4 again here, so or he could have a draw. I'm not sure, but he just flats.
Yep.
So the turn comes, and it's the 9 of clubs.
Okay.
I bet 35, I believe.
So that completes the rainbow, right?
Yeah, it's still rainbow. Yeah, it completes the rainbow. But now King Jack or Jack 8 would get there for a straight.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So and Jack 8 is completely in his range. It's totally possible that he could have Jack 8.
A gut shot. Okay.
So I bet 35.
Yep.
And he clicks it back and raises me to 70.
By the way, it's Queen of Hearts. What is it? 10 of. You said you had 2 black 10s, right? I'm just looking at.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to
make that.
This might make one combination of difference.
Make one of my 10s red. I guess make it a heart.
Oh, it doesn't. Whatever. We'll do that.
So you bet. Didn't end up.
You bet 35, and he raises to. Well, you said 70.
70. He main raises me.
Okay. So this is actually, by the way. This is exactly what I was talking about, raises to 70. Here's the thing, like now, if he makes 2 pairs with queens up, there's a very good chance that there's going to be a straight out there, right? That's exactly what's going to happen here. Like if he had queen 9, you might play this the same way. And but like if turn was a 5, you'd be like all golden. The thing here though is that like the sizing is so small here in this particular spot. I'm sorry, you said that you had 400 and he had you covered, right? Effective?
Right. Yep. Yep.
Okay. So I'm just going to 3-bet here. I'm going to 3-bet here at 1-3 to get it in. Now, if you were playing a larger game, I would still probably 3-bet, even if you were playing 5-5. I mean, you're playing 200 big blinds. Yeah, you've got middle set. I mean, I know King Jack comes in, but I just doubt that it's a min raise with the nuts here. And you're saying that this guy is playing so wide. You know, you made a point to say that a lot of people don't realize that he could be making this play with 9-4. He seems like a guy that might call your raise with 9-4 suited. Well, if he has 9-4 suited, he's going to have queen 9 off. He's going to have 10-9 off. You know what I mean? Like,
I had seen him do things like that. Like there would be 3 diamonds on a board, and he'd have a straight, and he'd bet for value on the river. So, he was kind of not really capable of, or at least wasn't concerned that he might be beat in certain spots.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't sure if that was the case again here, or if he really did have King Jack. I was slightly worried about Jack 8, but King Jack was the one hand that I was really concerned with at this point when he mid-raised me back.
I don't know, but do you think that he min-raises King Jack? A lot of players have slow play itis at the small levels where, on a rainbow board, that's the absolute nuts. So they'll do one of two. If they've got slow play itis, they'll call. Or they'll raise. But usually you don't see somebody min-raise with the nuts. That's what I actually preach. I don't like slow playing. I like raising small with the nuts because no one folds. But that's an exploit that I have recognized that other people don't do. So if you had bet 35 and this guy made it like 250 or 200, okay, now we've got something to talk about. In the sense of like he might have a straight. I just don't buy it here. Like a call as a flat or a raise larger makes more sense to me with a straight than a min raise. That's why, guys, I like min raising. I don't know if you're a subscriber, but if you caught the episode from 2 podcasts ago about it was called Getting More Money in the Pot. We talked about 2 examples of this. This was the podcast, I want to say, if people are watching this from YouTube, the podcast from maybe April 4th. Actually, I can look it up right here. I want to say April 4th, called Getting Money in the Pot, talked about how, you're sometimes forced to make raises, and in this particular case, you're forced to 3-bet from out of position. That was actually last week, episode 235, Getting Money in the Pot. Because you can't just call and then check the river, because he's going to check back a lot of hands. There's going to be a lot of action card killers that will come, right? Now, you could call and lead the river, but what's the point of that? If you're going to call and lead the river, if he's never going to fold the turn, why not just 3-bet? Right? You're just getting more money in the pot. And the exact same thing, too, with when you're in position. People feel like, oh, I'm going to call when I have the nuts here on the turn in position and then raise the river, and they don't get a bet on the river. Right? Because the guy just checks the river, and the call accomplishes nothing.
I was kind of hoping that, the board pairs are on the river, and if he does have King Jack, then I can, cooler him and double up.
Well, it sounds to me like you're scared of King Jack. I think that where you and I differ in this hand is that, and a lot of people have this thing where they kind of get scared of the nuts. You know what I mean? They get scared of the nuts. And if I was in your spot and you had given me this history about this guy and I had seen him play all kinds of weird hands, I'm just happily 3-betting and getting it in because, yes, he might have King Jack some of the time, but he's going to show up with a lot of other hands too. And that's what makes the play profitable. Now, if you were playing against a guy that's an uber nit, that's super aware, that also wouldn't slow play bottom set, then okay, you bottom set on the flop, then okay, you could make a case where he's repping King Jack and maybe you just call and try to boat up and you make a crazy check fold on the river. That's not this guy. And this is 1-2. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So
sounds to me like you just called.
I just called.
Yep. Okay.
And the river came at blank, 2 of diamonds or something like that.
So what are you thinking here at the end?
At the end, I'm thinking, the board didn't pair like I was hoping. So I'm thinking I'm going to check to him and see what he does. If he shoves, I have a decision to make.
Right.
But what happens is I check and he bets 50. Like seems like this incredibly small amount to bet on the river.
He bet 50 into a pot of like 200?
Right.
Yeah, I would never be in this spot, but the way that I interpret bet sizing, I would just move all in. I don't think he's got king jack. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wouldn't play it this way. But if I somehow got to Fifth Street this way, yeah, it's just I think you have the best hand here. Well, I think you had the best hand on the turn. Now, you bring up an interesting point, probably not intentionally, or this is an interesting situation because people will say, well, how can he now check raise the river if he was scared of king jack on the turn? And what they don't understand is that something has changed. And the change is the extra information that we've got is the bet size. The guy raised to 70 on the turn in position. He's now following it up on the river with a $50 bet in position. That in itself gives us information.
There's one little detail that I left out that's kind of important here. This guy had all of his stacks in stacks of 50. So he just slid out one of his 50 stacks.
Okay. But still, he still raised to 70, though, on the turn, though, right? I mean... Yeah. So what did you end up doing? It sounds like you might have just called.
I just called.
Yeah.
I said, if you got king jack, I'm going to pay you off. And I put the $50 out there. He turned over pocket fours.
Yeah.
So I feel like I missed a lot of value there, and it seems like you feel the same way.
Yeah, the 3-bet on the turn, I'm just getting a 3-bet and get it in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously it was good that at least he bet the river. You know what I mean? But when he's only betting 50 on the river with like pocket fours, I mean, guys like this are probably checking behind 9-4 at the end, to be honest with you. You know, he's probably checking behind a lot of 9-10 and 9-4. It's really difficult for him to have queen 10 because you've got pocket 10s and the flop action. So that's why we 3-bet the turn, you know? So.
Right.
All right. Thanks for the call, bud.
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate it. 3-2. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out CrushLivePoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.